Hello everyone, and welcome to another reading, and very specifically not a royal reading. I am going to read on the war in Ukraine. I wasn't going to, but I have done readings on world events on this channel before, particularly in the early days of this channel when I was really looking for a direction to go in and seeing what people were really interested in me reading on, and the vast majority were interested in royal readings, and the world events readings I did got very little notice. But I'm going there also because the royals have gone there. Harry and Meghan first, then William and Catherine. Prince Charles has gone there now. And of course, William and Catherine's message of support was very publicly acknowledged by Zielinski in Ukraine. The other message from Harry and Meghan not acknowledged, and that's caused a bit of a hoo-ha among the sugars. But anyway, I'm going to do this 7-card reading. I'm using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It is a standard Rider-Waite tarot, a little bit darker. It seemed appropriate for this reading. And I am going to be looking at the main players in the conflict, the level of conflict, what is positive, what is really negative for Ukraine, what message there may be for us in all of this lesson, and the outcome. And if it is a very grim reading, I'm not going to upload it. If it is an okay reading, I will upload it. So if you're watching this because I have uploaded it, then you can probably relax a little bit. I'm leaving the curtains open so that the sun is going to shine on the tarot table while I'm doing this. It's not a very sunny day here in South Africa, but late afternoon sun is peeking through as I'm doing this reading. And I have thought long and hard about doing this and asking the guides to really come in on this one. I have a new guide. It's been around recently, and so we'll see how it goes. First card that flipped for me as I was shuffling was the Death card. Doesn't bode well, but we'll keep going. And I'm going to shuffle one more time. See what if anything the tarot wants to tell you, tarot wants to tell me. And another one. So try and get the right energy into these cards. And I'll cut the deck, and then 7-card reading. See what we can see. I myself am not putting too much energy into this. I didn't with the pandemic either. I was told not to. I was told to keep my energy as positive as possible. Really focus very much on keeping the people around me uplifted and as positive as possible. We all have different roles to play in situations, and so as I say, this is actually quite a challenge for me to do this reading. And the heart of this reading, the first card here in the middle, I want a signifier for the level of conflict that we are going to be seeing. That's a bad card. That's the world. That means we're all involved in this world war. And it's upright. And it's normally a very positive card. The world card, it's the end of the major arcana in tarot. It is a successful conclusion of something. So even though it says the world, it's not necessarily terrifying. It is not necessarily terrifying. So we're going to keep going, and we're going to see what the outcome is over here. But that, yeah, it's big. It's massive. It really is massive. But it could be that the world actually steps in and ends this conflict in a very positive way. So we're going to wait and see. Dogs barking, people shouting as I say that. Just the busy time of day here in my little village. Everybody's out walking dogs, children playing the road, that kind of thing. So the two main characters in this war so far. Zielinski first. How's it going to go for him? Card for him. Well, that's the good news card. It's a minor arcana. It's not a big card. He is, of course, a surprise package, because he's not the usual kind of person that would be leading a country in a conflict like this. It's a junior card, very junior energy, small fry kind of energy, but it's very positive. It's sending out very positive messages that are received, that are heard. You can see the pyramids in the background. The wands are about travel. They are about being international. They are about being heard internationally. People are taking notice of him. People will take notice of him. It is a positive and an upbeat card. And junior player in this, but one that is getting his message out there, and that is very positive. Okay, so two actually quite positive cards, even though when I saw the world, my heart nearly stopped beating. But not a bad picture so far. Putin, card for Putin. How is Putin going to do in this war? Very badly. The Fool in reverse. He's done something very foolish. He's taken a risk that he should not have. It's major arcana. It is stepping off a cliff. It is really miscalculating. It's being very rash, foolhardy, and really plunging right off the edge, and not expecting the consequences of this foolish action that there are going to be for him. So, okay so far? Okay so far. What are the pluses that Ukraine can count on in this conflict? What's going their way? And the Six of Wands, Six of Swords in the reverse, tells me it's the international community. That people aren't going to leave them behind. Because when the Six of Swords is in the upright, it's you pack up your troubles and off you go. You don't stick around, you travel away from your trouble. And it is the card of international travel. It's in the reverse. It tells me that people aren't going to abandon them. They may in fact travel towards trouble with this card. And there's been a very loud call to people to go and please assist international community at various levels, diplomatic levels, and in terms of support and military support from governments, from international groupings of states, and also from private individuals who have decided to set off and go and help in whatever way they can. And so it tells me that the international community is not going to be leaving them, not going to be abandoning them, is in fact going to be walking towards them in quite a significant way. It's minor arcana, so not necessarily the level of support that they would like right now. We're reading the now energy. I'm trying to see into the future with the now energy. What's going against them? What are they really going to struggle with? Queen of Cups, that's interesting. It's female energy, it's emotions. It is quite hard for me to read that. Is focus going to be taken somewhere else? And for some reason, focus looks like it might be taken to the UK somehow. Always with the Queen of Cups. The White Cliffs behind. In some tarot decks, they're very obviously the White Cliffs. It could be that something goes on in the UK that draws attention away from the conflict in Ukraine at quite a strategic moment. There are some people, seers out there, shall we say, who align to events, a war in Ukraine with a passing of the monarch in the UK. It could be. I'm not seeing any particular player in this, in the conflict itself, any particular female figure, unless it's a wife that comes to an unfortunate end. The card is in the upright. Dog is having a loud bark when I say that. Deaf dog. The card is in the upright, so it's not necessarily a negative card, but this is in the challenge position. So it could be just generally challenges to do with women, children. What war isn't a challenge to women and children? But that could be the really painful sights that we see. Mothers women who are suffering, who are themselves personally suffering their own injuries, but also grieving. Queen of Cups always for me is grief, more than happiness. Even when the upright, it is looking back. She's holding something, always for me a kind of an urn. She's holding and she's mourning something. So there's that. So two things coming to me. The first interpretation of that card, just a bit of a shock. The second is more obvious, that it's obviously the women in particular who are going to bear the brunt of this in terms of suffering and pain and loss. What lesson is there for us? What do we need to get from this whole thing? Message, learning. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Pentacles in reverse. It's messages. Pages are always messages. Investing in things. I'm getting the idea from this card, because it's this juvenile energy again, which has already come through in this reading. Don't underestimate the little guy. Don't underestimate the power of your words, even when you think that you are the underdog in a conflict, when it's a David and Goliath seeming conflict. Don't underestimate what the little guy has. David took Goliath down with a slingshot, as far as I can recall. And same could be happening here on this foolish mission that Putin has embarked on. So that, I think, is the message. That's the message that's coming to me anyway. Deep breath. I feel really nervous. Outcome of this conflict. Queen of Wands. And a female energy again. Very positive. Very, very, very positive. I'm wondering if one of those women that seems to be in the EU is going to have some hand in resolving this conflict. We get a sunflower in this card. We get the wands which are starting to sprout shoots. We have the black cat sitting there. She's very charismatic. She's very powerful. She's in control. There is no sign of carnage here. There is no sign of escalation of conflict here. There is dynamic leadership. The wands, the king and the queen of wands, are always about leading, always about being very charismatic, motivating people, getting people to follow a cause, being very enthusiastic. So it could be that somebody who is either a woman, a very powerful woman, or has a very powerful female energy, triumphs in this conflict. It's just a theatrical card. We know that Zielinski comes from a theatrical background. Could be that that is the outcome. I'm going to take another card. I'm going to dare this. And I'm going to take another card for the outcome to just clarify that for us, please, if you would like to. The Hierophants come flying out, and I'm going to go through the deck and see if anything else flies out. Nothing has. And one more time, because our Hierophant literally just shot right out. And we get Death, the card that I saw when I was shuffling. Death has come out kind of sideways, kind of crossing it. Hierophant and Death, kind of sideways. Hierophant is, of course, the church, is, of course, power, status quo. It is things, groups, organizations. I think this represents either the United Nations or the EU that gets involved, and that stops it. There is going to be death. There is going to be death. I saw this card in my pre-shuffle when I was talking to you and I was shuffling. This card came out. There is going to be death. There is going to be change. No question about it. And the monarchy bows and leadership falls, leadership tumbles, but it could be that leadership that tumbles in this. It could also be the leadership that I mentioned that falls during this conflict. But it's tipping over So it tells me that it's going to stop. All in all, my feeling as a reader, this isn't as bad as it could be. I don't think it's going to be as bad as we might think, we might dread, we might fear right now. And the little guy is very well represented in this reading. The international community is very well represented in this community. I've got in this reading, I've got 3 cards: the World card, the Hierophant, and the Six of Swords in reverse. Putin, the Fool in reverse, not a good energy, and the Death card has come out. Inevitably, there is going to be death, but not as much as we fear. That's the reading. I really hope that this, of all readings, is true. And I am going to upload it. And thank you for watching it if you have. And I'll see you back to the usual suspects tomorrow.